There. Forget how I had this yesterday. I just dropped it. I forgot to mention on my little rambling, I'm going to mention it now, that I forgot to put my shoes on before putting on my gear. And all the pregnant women out there, I'm just, you know what, I'll say, if I was the woman I was pregnant, I would absolutely refuse to wear shoes. I wouldn't go anywhere that required shoes at a certain point. Okay, I'm less ready today for some reason, but let's jump into it. Yesterday I was talking about the list and all that stuff, and I mentioned on my ramblings on my way here, like, I shouldn't have said step one is just do these things. And they all work. So today I want to talk about, like, I briefly mentioned nature. Big thing I'm going to mention today is, and mostly in the theme of, like, declutter your mind. There's so much garbage up there. I know there is, because you can't escape it. It's everywhere you turn around. Like, eventually I want to talk about stuff that's going on in the world. Like, well, should be a big key motivator to get things done, get yourself squared away, poop in a group, ducks in a row, all that stuff. But I don't want to, because I know that a lot of people are already hearing it, a lot of people are obsessed with it, and everyone's going to hear about it in a way, like, or in a sense, like, I don't know how to explain it, but people just like to hear about how bad things are. And that's not the approach I want to take. I want to talk about how bad things are, but I want to talk about how you can make things good for you. Like, you don't focus on that stuff. Think about it in, like, a stoic kind of way. It's like, yeah, this is happening over here and it's bad. What can you do about it? And be realistic about that. Like, yeah, sure, you might not be able to go clean up all those train chemicals, but maybe you can sponsor somebody who had to leave because of it. Same thing with, like, you're not going to go Rambo in Ukraine and just end that war, or super diplomat and end that war. But there's things you can be doing about it, but just don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on things that you have no control over. So that's a big thing with decluttering your mind, and because that will distract you. And not only will it distract you from bettering yourself or achieving goals or whatever, it'll demotivate you. It'll make you feel like, what's the point? Like, I know, especially with the business stuff and, like, making money or job, like, or stuff like that, like, you'll get into a mindset like, well, why does it matter? We're probably going to go to war. Why does it matter? We're in an economic crisis. It's like, people found success in the First and Second World War. People found success in the last great global depression. Like I said, none of that stuff is stopping you. You're stopping you. You're just letting that stuff get in your brain and poison it. So yeah, decluttering your mind. There's that. There's obviously just the time wasters. And I'm not saying any of these things are inherently bad. But if I start talking about some form of entertainment, like, maybe you should cut it down a bit and work on something else, and you find yourself getting angry, the whole thing I'm talking about figuring yourself out, it's something you should look into. I don't know how much of that truck sound you guys are picking up, but people gotta work. Yeah, so if I start talking about video games or a certain show or something, and you just find yourself getting angry, like, I'm not crapping on your show. I'm saying, like, hey, maybe you're wasting too much time with that. I'm not saying it's inherently bad, even though most TV shows now are just garbage in every aspect. Like, like, morally and just, like, it's all just trash. You're better off just, like, honestly, you're better off doing just about anything else. So just decluttering that way as well, declutter your mind with all that garbage. And then, like, even, like, the physical, like, what you're eating. What you're eating is I keep almost coming so close to swearing. What you're eating is messing with your brain too. Like, I keep going on about it. I'm going to be sounding like a broken record. I don't care, because it's so freaking true. All those garbage oils that you're putting in you, vegetable oils, the sugar, like it's like you don't want. to have clear thoughts. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop picking on everybody. I'm gonna start talking about myself. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with caffeine or coffee. This is sacred cow for a lot of people, me too. But the whole off-grid your mind thing or off-grid your life, it's like getting away from things that you feel dependent on. And I don't have a coffee before I come on these ruck marches, and I definitely feel its effect. And the first thing I do when I get back, is start brewing one. So yeah, that ties into the whole off-grid your mind, off-grid your life. Like, you got to get away from some of these things that are keeping you trapped, keeping you down. Even if they're like, again, okay, I'll stop with that. I'm just going to repeat myself. If you don't like it, deal with it. Yeah, so decluttering yourself those 3 ways. That's why I keep bringing up drinking water too. Like, not only are you made up of a lot of water, and water is just great, but it helps flush out all that garbage. So yeah, decluttering your mind and nature. So nature's a big part of this too. So you start cutting down on all these things that I was mentioning and start to get it, like, recognize where you're out of balance with these things, like, in your mind, and then work on those and get outside more. I'm gonna make I made a clip yesterday. I'm gonna make another one of all the times where I just start getting a little too nervous in the woods. Like, maybe don't go out in the woods by yourself. I don't know where, like, anybody's watching this. You can be watching anywhere. Maybe some places are safer than others, but the biggest threat for me here is just animals. But yeah, just get out more. Maybe, and I'll touch on another one too, like that I mentioned before, is surrounding yourself with people that want to see you succeed. I got some pretty cool people watching my videos and just basically cheering me on and telling me some of the stuff that I've motivated them to do. Like, that helps keep me going. That'll help you keep going too. Find some people and go out and maybe just, like, go in nature with each other. Sometimes it's awesome. Well, every time is awesome for me. Like, just get out here in the woods and be quiet. Just listen to the wind. And, like, that'll put you on a fast track of decluttering your mind. This one might not be for everybody. Really works though, is fasting. And so I started fasting for spiritual reasons, but I've done fasts and dopamine fasts for physical reasons. That's another fast track thing. Like, I know I talk about baby steps and stuff, but if you think you're ready for the next step, do some fasting. Even if it's just like 12 hours, 6 hours, just only water. Put a lot of things in perspective. You start to discover a lot of things about yourself too. And dopamine fasts. Like, it sounds so simple. It's like, oh yeah, I just cut out most easy fixes of dopamine, like entertainment and stuff like that, and just meditate, read a book. You'll find out pretty quick. You'll find out a lot about yourself. So I definitely recommend that. These are, again, like, we're all different. Like, some people literally just can't even do a fast. I'm not telling you to do anything stupid. I'm just telling you, like, some baby steps and some fast track stuff for decluttering your mind. Because, again, it's not step 2. Like, you should do this anytime, like, or with any of the other things that I'm going to talk about. Oh, sorry. I did a longer walk today. My back is just killing me. I had to bend over too many times for my shoes, and I dropped my camera trying to set it up on this thing. I didn't think I was going to get through the declutter your mind thing so fast. I kind of want to keep talking. So yeah, like, for those of you who just wanted to hear kind of like not really step 2, but kind of step 2, you can jump off now, because I'm just going to go back to rambling a bit. I want to talk about I want to elaborate more on what I was saying, like how I want to talk about current events and things going on, because that should be the biggest it should be a big motivator. Your biggest motivator should be because you care about yourself and the people around you, and you want to be better you for you and them. That should be number one. Number two, you know what? Again, why am I putting numbers? Like, screw it. Screw the hierarchy stack and all these numbers and stuff. Just do these things because they're great. But yeah, like, you should be getting squared away for you, your family, but also because of what's gonna happen and what's happening right now. Like, I did a clip yesterday of day 11 where I talk about like things are only gonna get worse before they get worse. And we're seeing that. Like, there was a joke going around a year ago where it's like a guy in a military Jeep and a gas mask turning around. It's like, hey friend, I know things are bad, but they're gonna get a lot worse. And whoever made that meme, it just started going around recently. It's like, hey, remember last year when I told you things are gonna get worse? They're getting worse. But I want to be careful with my approach on this for everything I just said a minute ago. But I also want the focus of this is like, I don't want people to think get off grid because the world's gonna end and we're all gonna die and we all gotta get our bunkers and stuff like that. Like, that's not my approach. That's not my mindset at all. My mindset with off grid your mind and off grid your life is to like become self-sufficient, take care of yourself, not, okay, it sounds funny because another part of it is community, but like not like rely on your community where they rely on you. It's like a relationship back and forth, not like a parasitical thing. If that's even a word. Don't be a parasite, basically. I'll make that a shirt. Don't be a parasite. But yeah, like it's not that approach at all. Like, I'm sick and tired of seeing that. I go on YouTube all the time, and there's a lot of prepping channels I watch and like off-grid channels I watch, and all of a sudden they just jump deep into the we're all gonna die, get your bunkers, and just non-stop fear mongering. And like the world has seen all of this before. Nothing we're dealing with is new, maybe except for maybe AI. AI is the only new threat. Every other crazy thing that's going on, we've seen before. Even the insanity where people don't even know their gender anymore, stuff like that. Like, there's been periods in time, like, maybe not to that extent. I don't know. I'm not a historian, but people going on about like, oh, like drag queen story hour and the normalization of pedophilia. Like, that's existed before. We had that in the Roman and Greek Empire. I think even the other warrior cultures had like a really weird relationship with men and boys. And like, I'm not excusing, I'm not saying, oh yeah, well, let's just ignore it now because it's, oh no, I'm saying like, still come against that stuff. I'm just saying like, it might, some people think end times, some people, you know, rapture, stuff like that. I'm just saying, well, just hang in there. Like, maybe we'll figure this out. But yeah, if you find yourself listening to all the news and stuff like that, and you get into despair, nihilism, stuff like that, then I suggest finding a new way. Like, I don't want anybody to be ignorant. Like, don't be ignorant to what's going on, but find a way to learn and hear what's going on without in a way that doesn't make you upset and demotivate you. Or I'm probably just making up words this morning. I don't know. I gotta read a dictionary. 14 minutes. I'm not even looking at the time. Like, I want to stop. I want to get a lot of these things in my brain out. Just say them out loud. I'm also enjoying the view. Like, I know I'm not making eye contact with the camera or anything. It looks like I'm not engaged, but it's just because I'm loving what I'm seeing. Get outside. Go outside today. I don't know where you're at. Maybe you're having good weather today, even bad weather. Bad weather. Like, I love outside all the time. Rain, snow. Yeah. But yeah, there's no shortage in terrible things going on that we could talk about. There's so many things that most people don't even like I might sound like a hypocrite because I'm almost obsessed, but see, it doesn't bother me anymore. It used to bother me going into the news and finding out everything that was going on anywhere I could, every corner of the planet, trying to find out. And I used to go into a really dark place, but it doesn't affect me anymore. I started getting to like stoicism and Christianity too, right? Like, and now I just get motivated to help people. My mindset on that is just completely changed. But yeah, I gotta say it again just in case. My whole thing about getting off grid and off grid your mind, it's not run away. It's not hide from all these things. It's kind of like get yourself in a good position so that you can deal with all these things head on and help people deal with these things head on. Like, economic crisis doesn't seem to bother you as much when most of your needs are being provided for by the earth, by you growing, or learning how to make it yourself, or have renewable ways of getting energy and stuff. Like, it's just a lot of stuff seems to matter less, like a lot of the bad stuff. It's very, very liberating. I keep leaving too much dead air, so I might just shut this off and just start enjoying nature. The birds are starting to wake up, so all I can hear is chirping. It's some of the best sounds you'll hear. Yeah, but before I go, I'm going to mention a few more things. So this is just stuff about future videos and future plans. We're going to record a podcast this week. The topic is going to be military. I don't want to talk anymore about the short time I was in the military. Like, it was great. It was awesome. And it motivated me and it made me figure some things out and got me into a mindset that's helping me keep going and not stop. But it's not for me. It's not for everybody. But we did mention that we will talk about it. So we want to share some stories from Vitaly's grandfather and my great-grandfather, their World War II stuff. I'm doing a ton of reading right now on a lot of military stuff, because a lot of that stuff helps. It helps with off-gridding your life and off-gridding your mind. Like, there's stuff that, especially when it comes to wilderness survival, and the mental stuff. Like, people don't realize, like, when you're reading a lot of these crazy stories about soldiers all throughout history, like coming through some of the craziest things, you're like, how did they do that? It's in your mind. And that's what I was talking about with, like, in training, like that part that just like snapped in my brain, and then all of a sudden, like, no amount of pain, no amount of discomfort was it gonna stop me. And I can only imagine that being turned up to 11 in like a real dangerous combat scenario. So yeah, we'll talk about some of that stuff. I want to talk about how people can achieve that mindset. Like, it requires yourself pushing yourself to the breaking limit. Like, but maybe some people can achieve it with meditation. I don't know. I know it took me not wanting to embarrass myself or let my friends down in training, because a lot of people were like, yeah, we know you're out of shape and stuff, but we see you pushing, keep pushing. And I was like, I'm gonna faint, I'm gonna vomit and faint. And then I just, all of a sudden, something snapped in my brain in a good way. And no matter how physically tough it got, mentally, I was able to handle it all. And I think everybody can achieve that. Some could probably achieve it easier than others, but that's the key thing for off-gridding your life, off-gridding your mind. Like, once you achieve that mindset, nothing will be able to stop you. Well, I think I went on long enough. I think I'm going to take the long way home, so this probably won't be up right away. I've been trying to get these up as early as possible, but I don't know technology.